What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, so we are going to continue our coverage over Acts of Vengeance, but now we have to jump back over to Quasar. Really, this is our first time actually covering some Quasar comics on this channel because, well, Quasar is a very interesting character, but not as popular as Spider-Man, X-Men, or the rest of the characters you see usually on my channel. Now, when it comes to Quasar, he is actually the protector of the universe, and let me explain what that actually means. Now, when it comes to Quasar, his real name is Wendell Vaughn. Now, when it comes to Wendell, he was actually a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, but really more of a bodyguard for S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, when it came to Wendell, he saw somebody else trying to test out the quantum bands. Now, when it came to that person, unfortunately, he had died when trying to use the bands. But then the base was under attack, and so you had Wendell go out of his way to grab the bands, put them on, and become Quasar, the protector of the universe. As long as he wears the quantum bands, that is his title to hold. Now, when it comes to the quantum bands, the actual creation is still unknown to the world of Marvel Comics. There are some comics out there saying the Kree were the ones who had actually created the quantum bands, and in some cases it was a character known as Eon. And matter of fact, we are going to see Eon in this book down the road. But when it comes to the quantum bands, it gives Quasar the ability to use energy from the quantum zone to make him the hero as we see him as today. And so for today's video, we're going to cover Quasar number 5 and Quasar number 6. Now, both books do take place after Avengers number 311. And remember, in that book, we had actually saw the end to Avengers Island. It was completely wrecked thanks to some robots, and the entire island was sunk down to the bottom of the bay. And so as we dive into Quasar number 5, we do pick up with Quasar and Stingray going out of their way to salvage anything from the actual base, even though it is underwater. Now, while doing that, you have Quasar leave because, well, he has to go to work, but at the same time, he still wonders what could possibly be going on when it comes to these last few events. Now, when it comes to Quasar and most of the heroes, they don't fully understand what's happening when it comes to this crossover. Let me explain. So when it comes to Acts of Vengeance, it's a massive crossover that Marvel gave us in the late 1980s, early 1990s. Now, when it came to the crossover, the whole point of it was to see our heroes go up against characters they don't usually fight against. So for example, Spider-Man fighting against Magneto, Iron Man fighting against the Wrecker, Thor fighting against Juggernaut. And so when it comes to our heroes, they're going to fight against characters they don't usually fight against. Now, the reason why the villains had came together is because of Loki. You see, when it came to Loki, he told the bad guys, the reason why you keep losing to the same heroes over and over again, because they know how to fight you. Why not go after different heroes you don't usually fight against? And so when it comes to Magneto, go after Spider-Man. Hey, Wrecker, go after Iron Man, characters you don't usually fight against, and you might actually win. Unfortunately, the villains are still losing no matter what. But either way, when it comes to Quasar and most of the heroes, they don't understand what's exactly happening to them. All they know is that different kinds of characters keep coming after them all at once. But now we have to jump over to the main bad guy of the book, really the main bad guy for the first chapter, and that is going to be the Absorbing Man. Now, when it comes to the Absorbing Man, he has the ability to take on any property that he touches. So for example, let's say by chance he touched gold. If he does touch gold, his entire body turns to gold. Same thing for almost any other property. Now, when it comes to the Absorbing Man, this guy just lost to the Hulk, but he wants another round with the Hulk, which honestly is a dumb idea. But then he is confronted by Loki. Now, when it comes to Loki, he tells him, that's a dumb idea. You just lost to the Hulk. Why in the world would you go after the same guy who just gave you a beatdown? why not go after somebody else you might actually win? Now, when it comes to Loki, he does give the Absorbing Man an upgrade when it comes to his powers. Really, anytime you have the Absorbing Man throw his ball and chain, he'll then have the ability to fly that direction he threw it. It's kind of like Thor, but not really. But either way, now he has the ability to fly. But this is Loki wondering if he'll be able to find a hero if he could actually win against. Now, like most heroes in the world of Marvel Comics, they have a life away from their superhero life, a regular person life. And so when it comes to Wendell, he owns a security consulting firm. Now, that's the perfect job for him to have because he can easily step away if he needs to go be a hero. But at the same time, that job gives him an income. But here's the problem though. His company is not really making any money. You see, he has no clients yet, and so his main goal is to, well, get some clients. Now, luckily, when he walks into the room or the office, his assistant tells him, hey man, listen, we got our first client. Like, we got somebody finally. We can start making money. And it's great for Wendell. He loves the idea of being able now to have some clients. Now, when it comes to Quasar, he has this secret room in his office, and apparently Eon hides in that office right there. Now, when it comes to Eon, he is a cosmic being, but he was the protector of the quantum bands. And so when it came to Wendell becoming the next Quasar, Eon became his mentor. Now, at the same time, when it comes to Eon, he became close friends with Wendell's father, Gilbert. And Gilbert was also studying the quantum bands before Wendell was able to get a hold of them. But either way, Wendell's father and his mentor have become great friends and are just having different kinds of conversations about the universe. It's kind of fun to see, but either way, you do have Quasar leave. Now, when it comes to Wendell, he does head over to his client's office to begin the terms of their agreement. But here's the problem though. You see, as soon as he arrives and realizes that one of his friends works in the same office as his client, well, that is when he gets contacted by Steve Rogers, Captain America, saying, hey man, listen, we need your help. The Absorbing Man is going on a rampage, and the rest of the Avengers, including me, got a lot on our hands at the moment. You're the only one free at the moment who can deal with that problem. And so you have Quasar leave his client's office to go be Quasar and go handle that situation. Now, when it comes to Quasar, he is able to find the Absorbing Man very easily. But here's the catch. You see, when it comes to the Absorbing Man, like I said earlier, he is able to take on the different properties of different items that he touches. But he's also able to take on the form of different energy that's used on him. And so when it comes to Quasar, when he does use the quantum bands on the Absorbing Man, you would think at first that he would be able to take on the form of that energy that he's being hit with. But when it comes to Quasar, he reminds us that he is able to manipulate all kinds of energy. And so he's not allowing the Absorbing Man to be able to change forms into the type of energy that he's being hit with. And so when it comes to Quasar, the only thing to do now is take the guy back over to the vault. Now, when it comes to the Absorbing Man, he also has a piece of adamantium inside his pocket. And so with that piece, he's once again able to take on that property and escape the bubble that he was trapped in to continue the battle against Quasar. Now, when it comes to their battle, Quasar is playing defense, and that's the problem right there, because when it comes to the Absorbing Man, once he's able to get close enough to Quasar, he's then able to grab one of the quantum bands. And like I said earlier, he is able to take on the form of energy that he touches. And so as soon as he touches the quantum bands, he's now hit with that form of energy. The Absorbing Man is able to go cosmic and now being an actual challenge for Quasar. But here is the problem when it comes to the absorbing man now holding on to the powers of the quantum bands. You see, it is told in many times in comics, if you are somebody who tries to possess the quantum bands without proper permission, you are going to die. You are going to explode. And that's a problem for the absorbing man, because now he's holding on to the powers of the quantum bands without having any kind of permission to do that. And so you have Quasar telling him, you are going to explode. You have to let go of that energy. But for the absorbing man, he's all like, why should I? Because now I have the power of cosmic inside of me. I'm really powerful. Now, when it comes to Quasar, he knows if he explodes, the absorbing man, if he explodes, most likely there goes New York completely and all towns around it. And so he knows he has to go ahead and continue to feed the absorbing man more energy of the quantum bands to go ahead and make him explode. But make sure he explodes far away from New York before innocent lives are lost. And so really, that's how this first chapter wraps up, with the absorbing man blowing up because of Quasar. But to Quasar, it was the only way to save the day. Now you have Steve Rogers telling Quasar, don't worry, because when it comes to the absorbing man, he always finds a way back. And most likely, he's doing that right now. Now, as we dive into the next chapter, we do get a random matchup. For me personally, makes no sense at all. And that would be Quasar going up against Venom. Of all characters, they give him Venom. In the opening pages, you have Quasar being able to take down Venom and take him over to the vault and says, you know what? My job is done, and leaves. Like literally, Venom's on the cover of Quasar #6 as one of the many villains who's supposedly going to give our hero a hard time, and he's only there for 2 pages and then gone. Now, when it comes to Quasar, he does try his best to go back to his firm and try to do at least some work, because now he has a client. And his goal is to take that client and get some money finally for his company. But once again, he is called to go be an Avenger and to go deal with some kind of problem in the world. And so once again, he has to leave his job behind to go handle a new kind of situation. Now, when it comes to Quasar, he does arrive at the scene of the crime to see that, well, it's Claw trying to attack innocent people and attack a building as well. Now, when it comes to Claw, his whole entire body by this point in Marvel Comics is made out of sound, and that makes things so much easier for Quasar. And here is the reason why. Because you have Quasar being able to create a vacuum around Claw. Sound cannot travel inside of that. And so when it comes to Claw and his entire body, it just goes inside the weapon that he always holds when he's out there causing problems. Now, after dealing with Claw, you then get reminded that around this time in Marvel Comics, you had the superhero community getting a lot of hate from the public. You see, for a long time in Marvel Comics, the public used to love superheroes a lot. Not every single one of them, but most of them. But by this point, the public is tired of superheroes, because all the time they're getting into battles against villains and causing damage across the city and other parts of the world as well. And so the public is tired of it. And so when it comes to the American government, they're trying to make a new law. If you are going to be a superhero, you have to register. You have to work for the government. And when it comes to most superheroes, they don't want to do that at all. And so once you have Quasar trying to take Claw over to the vault, well, that is when he is confronted by the living laser. Now, when it comes to the living laser, by this point in Marvel Comics, he was made out of energy. He was literally a laser. And so when it comes to Quasar, at first, he does struggle with this new villain for him. Now, Claw was able to get away while you have Quasar trying to deal with the living laser. But once you have Quasar being able to figure out what kind of energy the living laser is, he begins to capture the living laser. Because again, when it comes to Quasar, he is able to manipulate all kinds of energy. And with living laser, he's just another kind of energy. Now, once you have Laser realize that he is about to lose, you have him just fly away. He flies away so fast that clearly he's traveling at the speed of light. And so you have Quasar follow him to hopefully capture him. Now, when it comes to the living laser, he does travel over to the blue area of the moon. Now, when it comes to the blue area of the moon, this goes way back to the Kree-Skrull War. But technically, this area was made by the Skrulls as a testing site to test out the Kree and also the Katati. Now, when it came to the Kree, they were able to build a city in the blue area of the moon. Now, by this point, this area belonged to the Watcher. It was his home as he watches over the Earth and the rest of the universe as well. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to the living laser, he does arrive in the blue area of the moon, but he goes into a building that he has no idea belongs to the Watcher. It's the Watcher's home. Now, while you have the living laser just walking around the home, or really flying around the home of the Watcher, we kind of find out that there is another character hiding in the home of the Watcher, and that would be the Red Ghost. Now, when it comes to the Red Ghost, he was somebody who used to be a scientist for Russia, but he also tried to recreate the incident that gave the Fantastic Four their abilities. And so he was also hit with cosmic rays, but also he brought 3 monkeys along with him. Now, all 3 monkeys, including him, were also able to gain abilities. And so when it came to Red Ghost, well, he gained the ability to phase through walls, kind of like Shadowcat. And so the reason why he's here right now on the blue area of the moon in the home of the Watcher is to steal different artifacts that belong to the Watcher. Now, when it comes to the Red Ghost, he knows if the Watcher finds out that he's in his home, the Watcher can instantly teleport him back somewhere else on Earth. Now, when it comes to Quasar, he was able to arrive at the home of the Watcher very easily and find the living laser very easily. Now, when it comes to the living laser, he begins to freak out because he knows if he gets into another battle with Quasar, he's going to lose. And so you have the living laser realize that the Watcher is using some kind of screen to watch different parts of the universe, different parts of the Earth. And so when it comes to the living laser, he used that screen as a way to travel somewhere else in the universe, most likely back to Earth. Now, when it comes to Quasar, he has no idea what to do next. And when it comes to the Watcher, he's not really happy about the idea of people being inside his home. And so he instantly teleports Quasar and the Red Ghost out of his house. Now, when it comes to Quasar, he has no idea the Red Ghost was there, but the Red Ghost is very upset that he was caught thanks to Quasar in the living laser. And so his entire plan fell apart very easily. And so now you have the Red Ghost trying to battle against Quasar. Now, for the sake of this video and for myself as well, I'm not really going to dive into the battle between Quasar and Red Ghost because it does last for a few pages, but you do have Quasar being able to find a way to take down the Red Ghost, and really that wraps up his tie-in to Acts of Vengeance. Now, he will reappear in other books down the road, but for his main series, the Quasar series, this was it, and we move on with our lives. But with that being said, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.